How are you feeling? What's up?
Feel great. I've got my blue light blocking glasses that I'm
You
gonna.
do sound smarter already.
I feel more intelligent.
I feel that. Yeah.
Happening, folks.
Yeah, no, not much today. This weather is really playing with my emotions. It's like one day it's like snowing, and then the next day it's like hot and sunny, and then at night it's like freezing cold.
Testing you. It's testing you.
Yeah, but summer's coming, right?
It is. Yeah. And we have a new cohort just kicked off. I'm super excited about this cohort.
Yes, our April group.
April group. We got a good crew. They just started on Saturday. By the way, if anyone is interested, like it's not too late. You can still join. We'll get you caught up in a couple days, so we can kick it off right away. But if not, our next cohort will start towards the end of May. So if anyone's thinking about joining and you want to, just shoot us a note. Shoot us a note. We'll chat about it. It's all good. What are we chatting about today?
We are talking about intention, training with intention.
Oh, I love this.
Which I feel like translates to just doing anything with intention in general. But
the way you do anything is the way you do everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, this is a big topic for me, because this is often when people can start to understand this or wrap their mind around this and it clicks for them. This is what can really accelerate your progress, right? And also on the flip side of that, this, I believe, is one of the reasons, amongst others, but one of the main reasons why people don't see ongoing and continued progress.
Right. Yeah, so then let's define intention then first, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I don't have the Webster's dictionary.
You're not a dictionary? Okay. Not as smart as I thought. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so for me, the big thing between, or the difference when someone understands what the intention of a movement is, then it becomes less about just getting through the motion. So just getting 10 repetitions done. And oftentimes, I mean, once you really understand the intention behind a movement and it starts to click, then yes, focus on the reps. But if you're going through your workout, particularly at the beginning, or if you're of a younger training age, and by training age, I mean years of experience, right? So you can have someone that's 16 that has a higher training age than someone that's 60, right? Depends on how many years they've put into training properly. But yeah, intention also, I think, is important to understand. When you understand the intention behind the movement, you're not just trying to replicate what someone else is doing or the way they look, because what that movement means for you could look very different from the next person, depending on your anatomy, right?
Right, correct. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So, if you're just trying to replicate the movement, then you might not be doing it in its best form for your current progression, for your body type, for your anatomy, all these different factors. And we see that often, as you know, when we train individuals, we'll modify the movement for someone in a way that looks different, but they're going to get far greater benefit because they're understanding the intention of the movement, right?
Right, which I do, that comes with, repetition and practicing that movement, obviously, over and over again throughout the program. Like that's why we have progressive overload as well. But I think too, when you're just learning, so obviously just learning the movements, you are kind of just mirroring. So you are just kind of copying that person, following along, right? So that's kind of the first step. But which is why I like to always kind of tell them, why this movement is important, what muscles we're using, to really get your brain involved. And then I think that can create a stronger connection towards intention.
Yeah, super important to give people the why behind a movement, right? And I'll use the split squat as an example because that's one that we spoke about last time. It's a staple. I did the quick math for someone the other day because they were like, "Oh, I don't feel like I'm good at the split squat yet," and they've literally been doing it for less than a month. And I'm like, "Okay, well, let's put this into perspective." I mean, I think over the last 5 years, I've done well over 10,000 reps of split squat. And that's just in the last 5 years since I've really tried to refine that movement. So, they say it takes 10,000 repetitions before you can master a movement. And that's why I'm so adamant about the movement. But understanding the intention, the why behind the movement is so important. And like the split squat's a great example because it goes far beyond, oh, I'm making my leg muscles strong, right? There are so many benefits to gain from this movement. And if you understand the intention of creating ankle mobility, so closing the angle in ankle flexion, driving the knee as far beyond the toes as possible, trying to create as much contact with the hamstring and the calf, aiming for posterior pelvic tilt so that you're actually opening up that hip flexor. Now, the benefits that you've gained from and balance and all these things, the benefits you've gained from this movement include all of those things and bulletproofing your knees. And by the way, if you're doing this movement correctly, you're getting free gains on your front splits and free mobility gains on this movement, right?
Oh, yeah.
So Holly, I get so much more out of my workouts when I think about the muscles I'm using. Absolutely. Yeah, Holly. Well, it's well said. When you're the other piece that you mentioned, Coach, is being mindful and present and in the moment. And I think, I heard this terrible advice. I'm not going to name any names, but from this trainer telling someone to, go to your happy place while you're training and just push through the pain. And I'm sitting there thinking, wow, you just robbed that individual of so much. You just stole so much from that individual by basically telling them to escape the moment and not be present and not be mindful. Like that's the absolute opposite advice.
Yeah.
Which is, you want your training and exercise should be an exploration of your physicality. You want to be present in the moment. You get so many benefits from that. Good morning, Michelle. Find that her range of motion has definitely gotten better with the ATYL. Yeah, no kidding.
So good, yeah.
Yeah, definitely a staple, right? And we should talk about range too. I know we'll do a whole other call with that, but like what Michelle is mentioning, the importance of increasing range. So I think a lot of individuals I hear say, "Oh, you should stretch to avoid injury," and I'm like, that's one of the fewest reasons why we should stretch. The ultimate reason is to create movement options for you.
Right.
And yeah, injury prevention and avoidance, I think that's a little bit beyond stretching. I think that's when you start getting into end range conditioning.
Yeah.
I think you're looking at an increasing mobility, but giving yourself movement options so that you have access to more range, access to more movement, to train in those end ranges, which ultimately will improve quality of life, will improve your physicality, all of that. And will it result in fewer injuries, hopefully over time, but so powerful, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so I too think coming with training with intention, which maybe a lot of people say, find your happy place or just push through the burn or something like that. It's because maybe when you're training with intention, you're exploring, like you said, your physicality. And sometimes, what I've noticed is, each side of my body isn't balanced. And that's kind of something that's annoying to me, being a perfectionist. So I think, you know, when people really dive into exploring their physicality, they find things that maybe make them feel uncomfortable, or like, you know, maybe like I don't know, kind of hits their ego or something, which I think maybe makes people feel uncomfortable. But this is what, you know, it's a good place that we need to go to.
Yeah, I think that advice comes along with, you know, whether it's inexperience or just not knowing. And those trainers tend to be the ones that think that, you know, people will only get results if I push them to 120% every single workout. And I think a lot, again, that comes from inexperience, lack of knowledge, lack of wisdom. And it comes from a place, I think, of insecurity. A lot of trainers, I think, if you don't have the reps with people to trust your process, then you're gonna, again, default to, oh, I'm just gonna hammer these people hard and make them sweat and make them feel tired because they're unsure of if what they're doing with that person will yield results, right? When you're confident in your process, when you can look at an individual and look at how they move and say, okay, I know what I need to work on with this individual, and if they just do the things that I tell them to do and the way they're going to do it, it's going to yield results. Then you don't have to go to that default, just make people tired and sweaty so they feel like something's happening. You're going to actually show them results, right? And listen, this is super interesting. I've had people come to my class once and say, and not come back. And when I ask them why, they say, well, I feel like it didn't make me tired and sweaty enough. It didn't make me work hard enough, right? And I always find that interesting. And I feel, you know, first of all, I know I didn't do a good enough job explaining my philosophy behind training and the results that it yields. But I'll have people say, yeah, it's crazy. Like, I did the workout and it was hard. I wasn't drenched in sweat, but it was hard. And that once they buy into it and they see the results, they understand that not every workout needs to absolutely devastate your body. And in fact, when you're done a workout, you should feel like you've accomplished something and feel really good. Sure, maybe a little tired and from the work that you've done, but not laying in a puddle of your own sweat. Like, that's not sustainable to train that way. If you're an average individual, to train that way day in and day out, you know, and yeah, anyways, I could go on about that.
Because that's when it starts to really play into, I guess, hormones, and then creating a little bit more imbalance in hormones, right?
Absolutely.
Going that hard all the time. So yeah,
these are the problems with these studios that all they do are HIIT workouts. And it's interesting. I mean, you know, anyways, I mean, listen, I know a bunch of these instructors, if they do train that way themselves, they have hormonal imbalances. So I always question, like, there's a few that I have in mind, and I'm like, why do you continue to train people that way and teach people that way when it's not benefiting your body? Right? The reason why I know you and I and the other coaches in our program are, you know, want people to enter this, and we speak so passionately about it and with such conviction, is because we know the results. We train this way. I've bought it. I'll never train any other unless someone shows me a better way of what I'm currently teaching and doing right now.
Right.
I unless they can prove that to me, I'll continue down my path. I like to think I'm open and minded enough, but I do know what the other type of training does for people and the limited results that it gets for them, which is why we do what we do, right?
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about that. Because like you said, we are all on our own path. So I feel like a lot of people start off in that bodybuilding style of training, because that's just, you know, it's easy. It's, well,
99% of people train in, and whether they want to hide it under the guise of, oh no, and it's funny because every trainer, I can think of one in particular. I don't want to trash people, but someone brought her to one of my classes and she refused to participate, which to me is a red flag already. And then I said, hey, why don't you join one of my classes? And she goes, oh no, I already teach that movement stuff. I'm a functional trainer. And then I was literally, because I was at the same facility as her, I was watching, and I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not doing that at all. But anyways, I always find it interesting, right? Yeah, and Michelle, listen, Michelle says right here, I had to wrap my head around the way this program played out at first, because I was one of those individuals. Yeah, absolutely, laid out. Yeah.
One of those who worked out doing cardio and strength together. Yeah.
Absolutely, and she's made great gains. Like Michelle, congrats, Michelle. Like the videos you've sent me, you've made huge progress in your movements, which is awesome. So keep sending those videos in, so we can keep getting feedback. But yeah.
I was going to say that's when I feel like you got a lot of injuries. Is when you trained in that, condensed range of isolation movements.
Yeah.
All that fun stuff.
So here's another topic for a live. We should talk about the pitfalls of that style of training, right? And
right.
I mean, I'll touch on it quickly right now, which is we already live in these comfortable environments that we weren't designed as human beings to live in. We weren't designed to sit at a computer all day. We weren't designed to stand in one place all day. We were designed to work the jobs that we work in these rigid environments that are creating rigid bodies, right?
Yeah.
And then to further go and exercise or train using rigid machines is only going to create more improper movement patterns, and it's going to create more rigidity in the body, especially because most people shorten ranges anyways.
Right.
And understanding another way of training is critically important, because what you want to do is you want to offset all of the damage that you've been doing to your body through sitting all day and doing all that stuff as much as you can anyways, right? And then the other training like a bodybuilder, humans were not designed to be specialists, right? We're designed to be generalists. We're designed to be really good at a lot of things and great at not one thing. And when you specialize in building muscle mass, which is that was my sole focus, it was just build muscle at all cost. Well, I ended up paying the price, and it cost me a lot. It cost me my ability to move well. It cost me, from a psychological perspective, it cost me a lot with my obsession to look a certain way, which I'm very vocal about, right? And, I'm not saying it's not important to look good, but looking good should be a side effect of moving well. And I see these individuals, yeah, you look good, but you can't raise your arm over your head. I'm not impressed, right? You can bench press 400 pounds, but you can't get your arm directly overhead and you've got shoulder pain. I'm not impressed, right? I'm not sure that that's a great goal to pursue, right? I think there are much better goals to pursue.
Yeah. Yeah, and then another thing I was going to talk about with intention too, I feel like it really creates a stronger mind-body connection. When you're really, thinking about that movement, thinking about the muscles doing the work and what benefits it's giving you, kind of thing. It's creating a stronger pathway from your brain to that muscle. And I feel like you get better activation that way. And you're just, again, creating that better mind-body connection. So it's super important. I feel like a lot of people don't really think to that level. To just create that connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And mind-body connection is a great way of saying it, or proprioception, body awareness, all of these things, right? Super important. These are all like fundamental human attributes that we should all have. I had a conversation with a really good friend of mine the other night, and this goes beyond just exercise for me. And I know people think, oh, this guy's crazy, gets woo-woo, but I do get, emotional or spiritual about my my training. That's why I don't really like to call. I like to call it an exploration of my physicality. Honestly, I wake up every morning and I get super excited that that I woke up. Number one, is that today is not promised, right? And I just think, you know, it's an ultimate form of gratitude. It's the ultimate expression of gratitude is to explore your physicality and to explore your mind too, right? To be alone with your own thoughts, to journal your thoughts, to explore your thoughts, and same thing with your body, to explore what is my body capable of, you know, self-inflict adversity through challenging yourself physically, I think is the ultimate expression of gratitude for what we've been gifted, this opportunity to do these things. Right. So, you know, I don't know, I think about that a lot.
That's beautiful.
This guy's crazy. I know, but it's something that I never had before when I just trained for a certain look, right? I would always just pursue the look, and I was missing so much, and it's changed again. That practice, exploring your physicality, can be an incredibly fulfilling thing, right? When you are looking to attain new skills, and I'll refer to the handstand as one of those skills. You know, every time you unlock something new, because it's a true skill, right? When you unlock a new ability with the handstand, or you get that 10 seconds, or you start to feel more comfortable 15, 30 seconds, a minute, holding that handstand, you know, there's something innately satisfying and gratifying about, because you pursued something and you put in the work, and then you reap the rewards of that work is incredible, you know? When you shift your mind, it goes from working out to how can my body move for me today, and what movements can I, unbelievable. Well said. That's exactly what it is, right? How I love this. How can my body move for me today? I love the language. Thank you. That's incredible.
Just graduated from a signature program.
Yeah, no, but listen, that's so true, because how many people think, oh, I have to work out today? You know, change your language around it, and watch
you get to
work out, right?
It's a privilege to move your body.
Yeah, it's so powerful. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Absolutely, it's a privilege. And you know, I always think of people who don't do this daily, in some capacity. Just move your body, whether it's, you know, just go run with your kids or your dogs or whatever. You know, go to the park, and you know, when I'm out walking my dog, and I see like I don't know, there were these blocks that I always walk around, and there's these big concrete blocks at this one section, and I'll just jump from block to block, just silly things like that, right? Why? Because I can. Why not? You know, and I always think that someone that doesn't explore their ability to move, you've never known someone who hasn't had that ability, right? When you meet someone that doesn't have that ability to move, then it becomes, you know, like you said, a luxury, a privilege. It really is, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Love it. Love it.
Amazing, folks. Awesome. Well, listen, I love chatting about this stuff. Anything else you want to chat about today, or was that? Do you think we covered intention pretty good, or no?
I covered the points that I want to talk about. Yeah, I think that we covered a lot of it. But again, everybody, if there's a topic that you want to learn more about or you're unsure about, please let us know, and we're happy to talk about it.
Absolutely. Incredible. Appreciate you, Coach. Good chat. Let's do it again next week.
Yes, yes. Happy Monday, everyone. Have a good week ahead.
Talk soon, Coach. Thanks.
Bye.